Elaine B. Greaves has achieved enormous success as an attorney and entrepreneur. As a trial attorney, she honed her skills to become a dynamic communicator and built a successful law practice. As a professor, she used these skills to motivate and educate thousands of students, and as a law school administrator, she has positively impacted the lives of hundreds of future lawyers. Author of the book, A Season to Success, by the way, great book, I have read it, and a motivational speaker, she has challenged her readers and audiences of all ages to conquer their fears, live life to the fullest, and achieve their own season of success. Her own quest to make the most of her God-given talents has led her along several paths of adventure, including being a radio talk show host and columnist for a weekly newspaper. Elaine is looking forward to her next exciting venture, which is co-authoring a book with world-renowned author, speaker, and TV personality, Lisa Nichols. By the way, she's one of the speakers from The Secret if you've read the book. So please give a warm welcome to Elaine B.
Thank you, Joe. And I'm really happy to be here today with each of you at this week's Mastermind Business Alliance meeting. Before I start, let me ask you, how many of you have suffered setbacks? All of you? Failures? Have you ever thought of yourself as a failure? Okay. There was a time in my life that I thought I was a failure. Being almost homeless will do that to you, and I experienced that twice. And so I had to move from a sense of me being a failure to moving towards that and understanding, as Zig Ziglar said, failure is an event, not a person. And as soon as I begun to understand that failure is an event, that it wasn't me, that I was not a failure, then I was able to move forward and make my life into what I wanted it to be. Today I'll be speaking on the topic, failure is a 7-letter word, and so is success. You see from the blue handouts that I have, I've intentionally put failures in the small type, success in larger types. And what I'll be doing is using the word failure as to illustrate how you can go from failure to success. I look at failure and success as two sides of the same coin. And the trick in life is to be able to flip the coin, flip the script, to move from that failure feeling, failure mentality, to the success that you want to be. Many times our failures look like mountains, and our successes, or series of successes, look like anthills. But we have to understand what an anthill is all about. Within the anthill, there is movement, there's life, there's productivity. And so you need to celebrate each of those small moments of success and understand, even though they may be small in and of themselves, they're moving you forward to that success that you want. Perception is so very important. And you have to be able to step back from that sense of failure to where you want to be. Now, F in the word failure, I'm going to consider it as the term fear. Fear of success or fear of failure. And our fears can be caused by many things. And I'd like to categorize it in 3 ways. A fear may be caused by past experiences, your family dynamics, what your parents told you, or what your friends told you, or what you have told yourself. I can't succeed, I'll never make it, I'm not smart enough. Fear can also be caused by current events, the economy, the recession, a failing business, your finances. Thirdly, fear can be caused by an uncertain future. How will I send my kids to college? Do I have enough money to retire on? What will my relationships be with my loved ones? And so that fear is there, and it keeps us back from where we want to be. Flipping the script, the corresponding word to fear is freedom. Transforming the fear in failure to freedom and success. And your freedom comes about when you change your belief system. It's been said that fear is a learned behavior. It's also been said that 80% of more of what we fear never will come about. When you walk into a room and it's dark and you have that fear, turn the light on. That's a different point of view. The darkness is one point of view, the light is another. And understand that you can think differently. You have the freedom to think differently, to change your outlook and thereby your outcome. At the very least, if you begin to think differently, you give yourself the power to begin to make those decisions that are going to help you. So, what one thing can you do today to move from fear to freedom? The second letter in failure is A. A is for adversity, and the corresponding success word is achievement. Now, I was a very shy child, so much so that when my parents had guests, I would hide in my room. When I was small, I'd hide under the bed. I would walk out of my way not to talk to a friendly neighbor, because I could not have a conversation with anyone. I spoke very little at school. Even when I got to law school, teachers, professors would ask questions, and I would always shake my head and say no. And the dilemma was, how could I be an attorney and advocate on behalf of other people when I could not advocate for myself? And so each of us have some adversary or adversity in our lives that we have to overcome. Dr. Robert Schuller wrote a book entitled Turning Hurts into Halos and Scars into Stars. And whether it's mistakes, adversities, or scars from our past, we need to know how to move that from adversity to achievement. We look at the people who have succeeded in life, and it's not because they didn't have adversity, but because they had this desire to achieve. We see people like James Earl Jones, who stuttered badly as a child. He stuttered so badly that he communicated most of the time by writing things down. But we know he's the voice of CNN. He was Darth Vader. And so he overcame this adversity to move to where he wanted to be. And when we make mistakes, a lot of times we're down on ourselves. But mistakes have brought us many things. We wouldn't have the penicillin today if there wasn't a mistake. Shatterproof glass, we wouldn't have today. Crazy glue. Those things came about because of someone making a mistake and then using that mistake to further a goal. The third letter in failure is I, for insecurity. And the corresponding success word is imagination. Moving from insecurity to imagination. Insecurity breeds vulnerability, a sense of low self-esteem. It may cause you to sabotage the most important relationships in your life, getting to work late perhaps, not paying attention to your children or your loved one. How many of us have allowed insecurity to stop us from going towards that promotion or seeking that particular job or even opening up our own business? One of the stories that taught me so very clearly how important it is to move from that sense of insecurity towards a sense of imagination, of imagining what things you can bring forth in your life. Several years ago, I was at a political meeting in Columbus, and there were several hundred people there, but I looked in the distance and I saw someone whose face was familiar. She was an Ohio Supreme Court Justice. And so I thought of going up to introduce myself, but that fear and uncertainty, well, okay, so I'm an attorney, but still, I mean, she's a judge. I mean, Ohio Supreme Court judge. What interest would she have in talking to me? So that fear and uncertainty bugged me. But then I took the courage, I got the courage, and I went up and I stretched out my hand and said, hello, I'm Elaine Greaves, and I'm an attorney from Youngstown. Was she overwhelmed by that? No. The conversation didn't go anywhere. So embarrassed as I was, I kind of crept away and went back and talked to some other people. Then within a few minutes, I came back her way. And all of a sudden, behind me, I heard someone say, oh, you were the attorney from Youngstown. I said, yes. She says, I'm looking for an attorney from your area who's willing to sit on an Ohio Supreme Court board. Is that something you'd be interested in? Yes. She said, well, here's the fax number, fax me your resume. I'm looking for someone with high moral character. If you fit that bill, send me your resume. So I did. And 3 months later, I got a call from the Supreme Court saying that I was appointed as a member of the Ohio Supreme Court Board of Commissioners on Grievances and Discipline. And that's the board that has hearings against judges and lawyers all over Ohio who run afoul of the law or who engage in unethical conduct. Now imagine if I had not conquered my fear and insecurity and walked up to that woman, I would not have 7 glorious years on that board that I did, just because I was able to imagine that I could walk up to her and say hello. It was Muhammad Ali who said, "The man who has no imagination has no wings."